Alright, so hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Now today is a super exciting day because I finally got my hands on the latest and greatest Sony TV, the BRAVIA 9. Now this TV is actually one of the most anticipated ones, and finally it has landed here in Malaysia. And Sony is saying that with this TV you can actually bring cinema home. So in today's video we're going to really find out all about that, whether you can really bring cinema home. And of course, I've checked out a couple of reviews online as well. This TV is actually one of the highest rating TVs of this year, and it's actually the top recommended TV to buy, obviously, in 2024 as well. Right, so in today's video, I'm going to talk primarily on the key features on why this TV is such an interesting one. But before that, maybe we should start off with a very quick setup as well as the design. Now, the setup itself is just like all other kind of TVs. It's pretty standard, but what I want to particularly highlight here is in terms of the stand, which actually caught me by surprise because there's quite a fair bit of flexibility as to how you want to set up the TV on your TV console. So what you can do here is a combination of 4 different kinds of setups. So for me personally, I've got a soundbar that's quite wide and I wanted it to not block the TV. So I actually put mine by the side and adjusted it to be a bit higher, and the soundbar fits in perfectly. So that's in terms of the setup, super easy. Alright, so in terms of the design, now the design of this TV is, again, something to note here is that it's a little bit thicker on the sides. So if you take a closer look at the frame itself, yes, it looks very solid and sturdy. And the reason for that is because Sony actually put in one of the strongest built-in speakers into the TV itself. Now it's called the world's first beam tweeter speaker, and it's actually very impressive, guys. But more on the audio later. Let's take a further look at the design. At the back, we do have some very nice cable management, and you can actually cover up the entire back panel. And in terms of the ports, these are everything that you have. Again, pretty standard stuff, but I'll put it on the screens just for your quick reference. Alright, so I've got a couple of points laid down in my phone, but the first one we have here is actually called the XR backlight master drive. Now for this particular point, I do have a very interesting clip that shows you what's inside the TV itself. Now if you just take a look here, you notice that we do have a lot of individual LED bulbs, and what Sony is able to do on the BRAVIA 9 is that they have even better control of these individual LED bulbs, and they're actually able to show the subject in the picture in a more brighter manner, but still maintain a lot of detail, a lot of the contrast as well as the saturations. Now moving on to the second key feature, and that's actually all about the high peak luminance. Now this is actually a technical term, but in layman terms, what this means is that the TV can get super bright but still maintain a lot of detail as well as a dynamic range. So most people actually have the TVs in their living rooms, and you're very likely to have like large windows, maybe the sunlight is like glaring in, or maybe if you have just a couple of lights around. So with this high peak luminance, the TV itself can get even brighter, so you can watch your TV clearly, regardless of the environment that you are in. Now the best part here is that even when it goes so bright, it doesn't look like it's overexposed. And again, here's a very quick example of a comparison between another TV. You will notice that even though the TV can get very bright, it still again is retaining all the kind of details, and it doesn't overexpose. It doesn't cause the picture to feel flashed out at all. Alright, now moving on to the third point. Quick check, this is all about the XR cognitive processor. Yep, so again, with a very powerful TV, you need the processor, to be the brain of it. And with the XR cognitive processor, what this TV can do is basically, it can analyze the kind of scenes and generate a bit more depth. So when you see the video itself, or if you're watching the movie, you'll feel a bit more immersive. The pictures will look even more truer to life. And again, it won't look as flat as how you might see on other TVs. Alright, so moving on to the fourth key feature. Now it's all about the XR motion clarity. Yep, the TV itself actually can support up to 120Hz refresh rate. And what's actually happening here is that, for people who watch a lot of sports, what the TV can do here is analyze the scene itself, and it can actually make it look a bit more smoother. Everything will look very, very fluid. Now last but not least, the fifth key feature I want to talk about is actually all about the anti-reflectiveness of the display itself, and being the fact that you can actually watch the TV from any angle. It's got very good viewing angles. Alright, so for this particular TV, I wouldn't say there's zero reflections. So what's happening here is that there is a reduced amount of glare as well as reflections. So if you have, again, like a light source, again, pointing towards the TV, you won't really notice that much. And of course, if you are watching with your family members, everyone is probably going to be sitting at a different angle. So the best part here is that everyone can be able to enjoy what's on the TV as intended by the director. Alright, so just to quickly sum up my personal thoughts on the pictures, side of things, what I will mention here is that based on my experience with other OLED panels, sometimes when I'm watching a very dark scene, I'm not actually able to see what's happening because it's just too contrasty, or I would say that the picture looks too dark. Now I can adjust the picture by increasing the brightness and all that, but then it will become too bright for my eyes. So this is where the Sony BRAVIA 9 I think does a great job here, because whenever it's showing a very dark scene, I can still see what's happening behind, and again this is exactly as per intended by the director of the show. So that's one very big thing that I noticed the difference between a mini LED compared to my OLED experiences from before. Alright, so now let's move on very quickly and touch a little bit on the built-in speakers. There's actually two beam tweeters on the inside. So what the beam tweeters are doing is that it's actually shooting audio up to the ceiling, and it can detect like how it bounces off, and this actually gives you the ability to hear things from like above. You have that feeling. So if you're watching a show like a Top Gun, for example, and the plane is just flying across, you actually feel like the plane is flying across above you because of that beam tweeters in work. Now another cool feature that we have on the Sony BRAVIA 9 is called Voice Zoom 3, and just like the name suggests, it's all about zooming in on the vocals of the person speaking. Now this is particularly great for content like your news or sports, where you just want to focus more on the person speaking without hearing too much of the background noise. Alright, last but not least, obviously it's a Google TV, so you have all your favorite apps. It also comes with this very nice remote control with a built-in mic, so you can just call out to the assistant whenever you want. And a very cool thing about this remote is that it actually has backlight. So if you are in the dark and you want to press on the remote, you have that light to help you out. Very nice touch. And just operating the TV on its own is very simple. You have a couple of settings. I think Sony did a great job here because it's just so easy to use and understand it right away at the first touch. Alright, so that pretty much sums up my experience of the Sony BRAVIA 9. Again, this is an outstanding TV with the built-in speakers as well. But don't just take my word for it. Again, there's a ton of reviewers online that's already graded it as like one of the top. Go check them out in the stores if you ever had the chance to. And I'll put a link down below if you want to find out more details about it as well. Anyways, thank you for watching today's video all the way to the end. Definitely appreciate you guys here, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Do take care and stay safe. Bye bye.